It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosley Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosley.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene of vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Another wonderful Wednesday afternoon to you, everyone. Thank you so very much for once again tuning into and staying with The Real Issues with me, Shelton Daniel, your host and the producer. Solo today, at least for the time being. There will be no Terry today. He did inform me whether late yesterday or early today that he's unable to make it, has other commitments. So whatever you're doing, Terry, the very best. We're always grateful when you're around, but fully understanding when you can't make it. I may have someone else coming in to sit in with me, but that's not sure as yet. But if he comes, we're going to accommodate him just the same. Technical operator, Alton Jaquan Joseph, a young man who I am always pleased to note keeps growing by leaps and bounds as our evening news anchor and on other occasions as well, helping with outside broadcasts and things of that sort. And also the voice behind some of our better commercial advertisements and so on. He's really made his mark in that field. Hope you're having a good day so far, everyone. It is a lovely day, I must say. In fact, the sit-in in place of Terry is here, and so now I can actually declare him, expose him, Yes, Miguel Fevrier is here to sit in with me in place of Terry Fenelon. Good afternoon to you, Miguel, and thank you so very much for coming. I didn't want to announce you and then have the high expectations that always accompany.
I didn't want to call to say I'll be a little late because you were probably on air.
Yes, it's okay. We're barely into 3 minutes of our start, but you're here and that's good. Like I say, we're having a good day so far. This is such a beautiful country that we have. Do we ever stop to think about that? People pay money, big money, save for a whole year or more, 2 years, whatever, to come on a 2-week vacation in St. Lucia. And all they have is good things to say about the beauty of the place. And it never occurred to us that 2 European countries, 2 major European powers, went to war 14 times for St. Lucia. 7 times each side took it. It's like you take it now, the other side come, they take it. Whether it was for military purposes, whether it was for strategic location, I don't know. In this archipelago that, bends like this and comes down, what was more strategic about St. Lucia than there was for St. Vincent and for Martinique and for Dominica, that it was St. Lucia, that they fought 14 times. You understand? Before they could reach some kind of settlement of a treaty to decide, okay, we'll leave St. Lucia for the English and so on. There must be something about this country of ours. And it looks like the people who are most challenged to appreciate it is its own people, the people who reside there, the people who bear its name, the St. Lucian people, etc., etc. So let us change that. We need to change that. I think it's already changed, that our country, small as it is, threadbare as it is where resources are concerned, we don't have gold, we don't have great military. There is something special about this country, its beauty being the visible aspect of it, that is begging for us to discover it, that is begging for us to own it, to immerse ourselves in it. And only then do I think we will realize its true potential, which is not something that we can grasp and that we can consummate in one go at one time. It will take us a lifetime. And so what's wrong with that? This is our life. This is our place. Let us appreciate it. And to those of you who have criminal intentions and criminal practice, maybe the root of that lies in this same lack of appreciation for how blessed you are, how special you are, how blessed and special your country is. God don't make mistakes, He don't make mistakes. If He wanted you to be a Russian, or He wanted you to be a Canadian, or He wanted you to be a Brazilian, He would have placed you. Because even before you were born, He determined where you are going to be born, where your nativity will be, what country you will call yours, by what name you will be called, what year, what span of time you have upon this earth, what life He determined. And if He has decided to make you a St. Lucian, even before the foundation of the world, even before you were born, He doesn't make mistake. He has a very good reason. Live in that reason, rejoice in it, fulfill it, make the most and the best of it, be happy in it, and make others happy. I'm not having a little episode of sentimentality, This is the way I feel about it, that God knows what He was doing when He made me a St. Lucian, and He knows the same thing. Rejoice in that. Stop feeling that you have to eliminate somebody and shoot somebody and stab somebody and plunder somebody for you to have a life. That's not true. It certainly is not true at all. And I think more and more when we look at the examples of the Julian Alfreds and people like that coming to the fore, there was a time we thought we were absolutely the worst of the worst in the West Indies because we were the only country that didn't have a player on the West Indies team. We didn't just get a player on the West Indies team, We got a captain of the West Indies team. We got more players like Johnson Charles representing West Indies. And now we have the St. Lucian who broke ground as the first, to represent us on the West Indies cricket team and becoming the captain, is now the coach across all formats. He's not having a very good time, obviously, but that speaks of something, that the places where it seemed like St. Lucia could not break through, could not get a foot in the door. I don't know why we would have felt this way, given what happened with the late Sir William Arthur Lewis and the late Honorable Derek Walcott. My friend, what those men accomplished for a country this size of this population is an achievement that will continue to reverberate around the world for generations to come, and people will always look at that and consider it astounding astonishing. No other country our size, our demographic, our population, and so on has come close to replicating that. So much for that. Let me say good afternoon to John Emmanuel, the Communications Officer in the Ministry of Equity, Social Justice and Empowerment. John, you did send me a video clip. I think it was last week. I didn't get to playing it. I was supposed to have played it since then because you sent the corrected version. I was a little iffy about it because what you call the lower third, the little bottom script saying who is speaking at the time was saying one person and the person speaking was another, and it's because the technician had made an error and had gone on vacation, but subsequently the technician came in especially just to fix that. So I'm going to play that, and you sent me another video clip which I didn't have time to watch. So I hope it's not the same thing as the one that's corrected, because I'm going to play both of them for I believe the communications coming from you and the Ministry of Equity are very good. All ministries are okay, but yours, I suppose, if your background as a GIS journalist man and all of that, the input into that probably speaks. So, Jaquan, if you have them lined up, let's play the video clip, the first one that we have from the Ministry of Equity, Social Justice and Empowerment. Go ahead.
The government of St. Lucia has officially launched the 7th round of the Multiple Indicator Cluster Survey Mix 7, signaling a renewed national commitment to data-driven policy and social development. The event brought together key stakeholders from government, UNICEF and civil society to mark the start of an intensive phase of training and data collection that will generate vital statistics on the well-being of children and women across the island. Implemented by the Central Statistical Office, CSO, for the Department of Economic Development and Youth Economy, Mix 7 is being conducted with technical and financial support from UNICEF under the guidance of the Ministry of Equity, Social Justice and Empowerment.
We see the Mix 7 initiative as integral to our mandate through sharpening the design of social programs, improving the targeting and delivery of services, supporting our commitment to rights-based child-centered development, and allow us to track better progress toward national, regional, and international development goals. We particularly look forward to indicators related to child protection, disability, early childhood development, access to social services, and other indicators directly related to those the most vulnerable among us.
Mix is not a one-time survey, but rather a prolonged study that paints an irreplaceable picture of how the lives of diverse populations change over time. The Mix provides countries with a framework to assess their populations and address their needs. It also allows for comparison between St. Lucia and other developing countries.
Mix 7 will feature specialized questionnaires tailored for women and children with further customization for different age groups. Following the launch, a cohort of 40 trainees have embarked on a 28-day intensive training program to prepare for nationwide data collection. The training is being led by experts from St. Lucia and UNICEF, covering critical subject areas such as mental health, maternal health, immunization, violence against women, water quality testing, and nutrition. Fieldwork will follow immediately after the training concludes, supported by 5 well-equipped survey teams.
Mix empowers policymakers, civil society organizations, and development partners to make informed decisions. It helps us to track progress, identify disparities, and allocate resources where they are most needed. It is a tool for equity, transparency, and accountability.
Providence Ford also noted that Mix 7 introduces expanded content to track progress on 40 Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, and lauded St. Lucia's leadership in regional data collection efforts. The implementation of Mix 7 marks a strong reboot from the disruptions caused by the COVID-19 pandemic in 2019, which temporarily paused the country's Mix activities. Since resuming in 2023, national partners have been actively engaged in mapping, listing, and testing both paper-based and electronic questionnaire formats to ensure the highest data quality and reliability. While survey designs and technical planning are essential, officials underscore that the success of Mix 7 hinges on the full cooperation of the over 3,000 households randomly selected to participate.
The scope of this upcoming round has been significantly expanded to cover areas that were previously limited or missing altogether. In this regard, we are pleased to announce the inclusion of new modules this round. Attitudes to domestic violence, child functioning, testing of learning outcomes, and parental involvement. Moreover, true to the 2030 agenda's promise to leave no one behind, the mix will support data disaggregation by age, sex, race, ethnicity, migratory status, disability, and geographic location.
As St. Lucia joins other countries in implementing the 7th round of mix, the island stands poised to generate international comparable data that will directly inform its social protection strategies and national development goals.
Okay, so that report about the mix survey from John Emmanuel of the Ministry of Equity, Social Justice and Empowerment. We have a second clip, like I said, I got from him this morning. But before I go there, and lest I forget, let me take some time in this early part of August to wish a very august personality. Now I understand why the word august means, important, significant, weighty, and so on. A happy birthday to Honorable Richard Frederick. Yes, Honorable Richard Frederick celebrating his birthday today, and we can see his picture smiling. Don't we all prefer to see him that way? Yeah, all smiles and so on. And I believe Honorable Richard Frederick turned 60 today, but he's anything but, I don't think any of us want to consider him elderly. He's quite youthful, quite energetic. So our best wishes to you, Honorable Richard Frederick. MBC Real FM is an information, news, entertainment medium, radio, television, with whom Honorable Frederick is very closely associated, being the producer and host of a weekly program, which I think dominates all others in terms of comments and the reactions, viewership and all, across all platforms, whether we're talking about Facebook, whether we're talking about via the TV, etc., etc. I mean, this is really the alpha, the dominant program of all. So, and of course, we know his performance as a member of parliament, as a representative of people, as a man who gets things moving and gets things done. The driving force behind such national events like the annual independence, baton relay and so on. The man who will push to get things like custody suites, he'll really lobby and push for it, and also Serenity Park, among so many others. And now we see the Jeremy Street plaza that is coming after the Anchorage, plaza or mall or whatever we call it and so on. Honorable Richard Frederick, really a man who has the energy, the drive, and even that headquarters building for the NHC, the National Housing Corporation on Chelsea. A lot of people try to drown out the significance of that with all foolishness about a piece of land that Slasper said they didn't want by, between Ban and Tapio area and so on, that they were not interested because the amount of remedial work they would have to do to make it fit into the port redevelopment. And Honorable Richard Frederick, having a business mind, not just a lawyer and a politician, a business mind. Why don't we barter? Why don't we do a swap? You understand? Sell this and use the money to get that NHC. It's like the significance of that NHC building. Some people were just out to just totally obscure and obfuscate it. They have all kind of foolishness.
And when the government is spending $60 to $70 million on a rent annually, that's I wish that we could have most government buildings owned by the state.
Yes.
So we wouldn't have to pay that. Although, just that said, one issue that we have always had with government properties is the maintenance.
Yes.
And I think moving forward, the Prime Minister, the powers that be as it relates to that, as we acquire more properties of our own, especially administrative buildings going on there, we do not neglect the maintenance aspect.
Yes.
That's
the significant thing about Honorable Richard Frederick, all the things they say about him. Honorable Richard Frederick is a realtor also, He's a man who owns buildings, he owns real estate. But you never get the sense that he is pushing to try to get NHC or any of the things that are part of his portfolio into one of his buildings. He's never pushing for that. Like he does his investments and is always confident that the houses that he builds, that the commercial buildings that he has, that he will get tenants as are necessary because he's offering a good deal, he's good quality. Unlike the previous Prime Minister, who seemed to have been on one single-minded mission to direct government
and you can't even call it Pogbarra politics because he's the only one benefiting.
Exactly. You know, so naked that you are actually a director and a shareholder in a hotel. No, but look at all the rents that they were getting from government.
51. Let me tell you this. There's a holding company that's owned. He has 51% shares in that. You know.
Yes.
I'm talking about the hotel. Mm-hmm. He has 51% shares, and as Prime Minister, he never divested.
Right.
Yet he would be ashamed and embarrassed for a reporter asking whether he divested or not about the prince coming to stay at the hotel, which he has 50% shares.
Yeah. So you see, you can understand this anger against Honorable Richard Frederick. They want to paint him as corrupt, but in every instance, the finger points right back at them that the corruption is on their part. And you see things like the NHC building, they're not happy because they would have preferred space to be rented in one of their properties to put the NHC, not go and build a building. Richard Frederick is never trying to get his, real estate signed up, suckling government dry, for this thing. He doesn't do that.
He doesn't need to.
Yeah, so for that said, Honorable Richard Frederick, once again, a happy birthday to you. Wishing you the very best of the things that really matter. Good health, long life, safety, and I'm sure Miguel can think of some others.
And just let me add though, again, to add to what you said about the things, the whole accusations being made against Richard, which point directly back at them. You remember when Alan entered the leadership of the party, what was being said about him? He has his money, he doesn't need this, and who we
saw something completely different.
Completely different. Yeah. You can say that about Richard Frederick.
Yeah.
You can say that about Richard Frederick, and there'll be truth to it every which way you look.
Yeah.
He's a businessman, yes, but then everything you go through Castries Central, the city, Shelton, and it's just amazing. As though every time I walk through, I hate walking through Castries because it's just hot. It's just, but everywhere you turn, you see something new, either a new structure going up or something that is government built that adds to the aesthetics or improves the aesthetics of the area. And kudos to Honorable Frederick for
Let's look at the city in terms of its cleanliness.
Oh, yes.
I mean, now, and I also have to commend Mayor Geraldine Lendo Gabriel. They obviously have a good system and method that they have worked out, that all the overnight, littering, for which the people that we call the zombies and so on go on top of that. By morning time, they have it cleaned up. They have the city looking more than decent. You say you hate walking through Castries. I prefer walking through Castries than driving.
Well, I don't. Let me put it this way. I just hate having to pass through Castries. Walking, it sometimes just feels so. Of course, naturally understanding for a city, but the heat. It's nothing to do with the city itself. Now it's just the heat, and you'd rather just have to get everything done up now.
Yeah, and I believe this is why little green spaces and recreational spaces becomes so important, because then you have the concrete jungle effect, that all these concrete structures, they absorb heat and they give out the heat again, so even at nights you don't feel any cooler. So when Honorable Richard Frederick spearheads initiatives like making sure that the George V Park has some kind of upgrade, that it is a more hospitable place, the Derek Walcott's Square and so on, create spaces like Serenity Park and so on. This for whatever they are on a scale basis, you understand? They may not be all that vast and all of that, but they represent vital green spaces in what would otherwise be a concrete jungle.
Oh, on that note, I need to ask if someone will pass a message to Richard. I need to know what's happening with the gardens. Thank you very much. The renovations of the basketball and tennis court have been done, but on behalf of our team, we noticed the courts have been raised, but then the rims have not. So I asked the question, are we getting new rims or are they going to be raised as well? So he needs to let us know, because we need to sweat on something that is actually appropriate to, of course, training for our tournaments. But if you look past
you sure it's not some luck of the turf you need?
No. But if you pass through the gardens, if you pass through the gardens, you'll see the changes. The tennis courts, both the tennis and basketball courts have been marked. Thank you for that. But we need to know more as to whether we get new rims as well, because they need to change.
Yes. All right. So Jaquan, let's play the second video clip from Johnny Manuel.
Residents of Lage Barbano are up in arms over a shop which is being constructed on a bus stop which serviced the community for years.
The Ministry of Equity, Social Justice and Empowerment, with responsibility for ecclesiastical affairs, held a formal handover ceremony on July 24, 2025 to present subvention checks to several faith-based organizations, FBOs. These organizations continue to receive government support as they deliver essential services such as feeding programs and care initiatives for the island's most vulnerable populations. This year's subvention beneficiaries included a diverse group of entities ranging from children's homes and elderly care facilities to churches and community feeding programs. Among the recipients were the Holy Family Children's Home, Bexar Roman Catholic Church, Sarot SDA Community Feeding Program, Trinity Home for Older Persons, and the Zions SDA Community Feeding Program. The total sum distributed amounted to approximately EC $70,000. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Dr. Shyman Hippolyte Emmanuel, emphasized that while the financial contribution may appear modest, it reflects the Ministry's deep appreciation for the tireless work carried out by these organizations.
The tiny that we shared with you, those of you representing homes for older persons, children's home, and even community members who are in need of clothing, being fed, and so on, that tiny bit is not in any way measurable compared to the work that you do. So this tiny bit is to really say thank you for what you do. While it is the ministry's mandate to do all of this, we are grateful for the support that you give because we have recognized that we certainly can't do this on our own.
Dr. Hippolyte Emmanuel further conveyed Honorable Minister Joachim Henry's strong desire to increase support to FBOs, subject to the availability of additional funding. Representatives of recipient organizations also expressed sincere gratitude for the support. Sister Rosemary Mutwuwa of the Trinity Home for Older Persons in Ancillary, which currently houses 11 individuals, noted the ongoing challenges in sustaining their operations.
It has been challenging for us, especially on financial level and also with the material otherwise, but God has been good to us. We have been getting support from different people. We just see people drop in and just bring for us whatever they have. And God has been good to us. We have been managing with whatever. And then with your help with the Ministry of Equity, that's really have helped us.
Pastor Quidley Morris, who oversees the feeding initiative at the Labeye District, the largest Seventh-day Adventist church in the community, highlighted the inclusive nature of their outreach.
At Labeye, which is the biggest church, every Wednesday we cook, and we cook a lot. And we don't give food just to Seventh-day Adventist people. In fact, we feed more people who are non-SDA because the need does not have SDA, Catholic, Baptist written on their faces. These are ordinary people who contributed to this country.
Deputy Director of Social Transformation Kendall Elver reiterated the ministry's commitment to ongoing collaboration with faith-based organizations. He praised their meaningful contributions to community development and acknowledged their role in addressing key social challenges, including crime, indiscipline, and poverty. The Ministry of Equity, Social Justice, and Empowerment provides these annual subventions as part of its broader mandate to strengthen partnerships with community organizations that champion social care and protection.
All right, John Emmanuel, I think you'll be pleased with me today, all right? Real Issues powered by Blue Waters with me, Shelton Daniel, and Miguel Favrier. We take our first commercial break. When we come back, just one more thing and the telephone lines will be open.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real Issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knightsmed Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosley Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosley.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
McDowell Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene of vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Real Issues, powered by Blue Waters, is on this Wednesday, the 6th of August, 2025. I'm Shelton Daniel, and sitting in with me today, in place of Terry Fenelon, who couldn't make it, is Miguel Favrier. In a moment, we'll be opening the phone lines, but I just wanted to note something. Some time ago, it isn't too long after I came back from Antigua. I do a lot of driving, more than I do now, try to refamiliarize myself, with my country. And one of the ways I always do is to try to mingle with people, ordinary people in a roots way, get on the buses, stop by, a little by the road bar, not any of the more formal restaurants and so on. And I remember I pulled up at Le Toc, at a bus shelter that is just at the entrance to the police training school and etc. in that area. I think we all know it. And I stopped there because I could see activities, the pans and everything that they were doing a food service there. And the people were nice. I met a few people, chatted with me, and this is what I most like about it. Maybe share a little beer or two among us. And I was wondering, well, has the bus shelter been converted into a food vending stall, a little bar? Because it's supposed to be a bus shelter. Come to think of it,
that's what it looks like.
But it's like the bus shelter, it has just morphed into a little roadside eatery and bar and so on. And you wonder, well, where does the restaurant begin?
Where does it end?
Where does it end? And vice versa for the bus shelter. And if somebody wants to come and to use the bus shelter as a bus shelter, there's a great possibility that there's no space for them because people there, and when people drinking and relax, you know how it is. It's a different vibe, legs outstretched and noisy, and if it's a little domino table you put up and so on. I mean, the vibe was nice, but isn't it supposed to be a bus shelter? Now, ordinarily a bus shelter is nothing sexy. It's nothing exciting. It's nothing entertainment. It's just meant to be a place to shelter you from the sun and the rain and to give you a little place to rest your tired legs with a single plank maybe that you can sit on and so on. But I wondered, how do you come? Who authorized it? Has the bus shelter been decommissioned? And as far as I know, all bus shelters by the public roadsides and so on, they are not privately owned. They are the property of the transport.
The chief engineer.
Okay, chief engineer, same as the roads and so on. So the same ministry, which used to be communications, works, transport, public utilities, which is now infrastructure and so on. That belongs to them. It doesn't matter whether it was donated by Rotary or whether it was donated by it. Once it has been commissioned for that use as a public bus shelter, it becomes the property of the government, you know.
The only people responsible for, I think, the upkeep are those who decide. There are people who go through their contracts with the ministry, so they would be the ones who have their branding and everything, and they'd be the ones responsible for maintaining and upkeep.
Right. But I heard nobody complaining about it, and myself and a few others tend to always be the ones who are stirring up things when there's nothing to be stirred up. And you know, the kind of behavior, especially towards somebody like me, there are some people who seem to be of the opinion that I should not draw attention to anything which has a negativity about it, which can reflect on the government because I'm supposed to be, you know, a government. I don't buy that, You know, I got some flack sometime back for that PS at infrastructure, you know, because some people believe that
she should be on her way out then.
Yeah, some people believe, you know, that, you know, I'm potentially embarrassing the government, and some people who believe in worshipping and kissing, you know, a certain part of people because of their position, like whatever. I don't know. I say things where it concerns the police where I think they could do better. It doesn't mean an anti-police or whatever it is, or I don't wish the best for the police. But I didn't say anything about it. But you see, when Shelton Daniel don't say anything about it, there are other people who will say anything about it. And DBS has done a report, which I think came out last night, about the bus shelter at Lage Babono, which it seems like somebody, whoever gave them permission, I am wondering if they did it without permission, has decided to just extend on the bus shelter at Lage, which I know only too well. When you reach Lage, going down to Bogis, there's a left turn that you make, which will take you to Deramo and those places and so on. Right at the corner there's a bus shelter there, you know. And given its placement, it's a very important bus shelter. And somebody has gone and decided to append a shop, some kind of shop, to the bus shelter, even to the point where the roof of the bus shelter, the galvanized and the whatever the roofing material we call it and so on, you know, has been cut and has been whatever so that it can join in with, you know, the structure of that shop and so on. And let's play that clip, Jaquan. Yes.
Residents of Lage Babono are up in arms over a shop which is being constructed on a bus stop which serviced the community for years. One community member says that a smaller bus shelter constructed to replace the original one does not offer enough space for community members awaiting buses in the morning.
The bus stop has been there for ages. I don't mind they came to consult with the community, letting us know what's going on, but they didn't. You know, 95% of the community, they are not aware of that, and they're not pleased with what's going on, because the bus stop has been there for ages. Why they had to do that? They said the minister gave them the authorization to go ahead with it, and it is not right.
One of the vendors who sold produce at the original bus shelter noticed the new construction on Monday morning and that a smaller bus shelter was created. However, the new shelter's roof is leaking and offers little protection from the elements.
I'm not against the shop, but they should not have used the bus shelter to turn into a shop. That is our main problem in the area. They could have found somewhere else to build a shop because everybody has to eat, like myself. So, the bus stop, it's an issue. As you can see up above, if it's going to rain now, we're going to get wet because it's not completed. And they did not even inform us. I mean, there's a young lady selling juice and myself selling the watermelon. They did not even inform us. It's when we came here on Monday morning, we saw the bus stop was all blocked up.
Residents say they should have been consulted before the construction began and are ready to protest if nothing is done. The DBS News World approached the woman who will be operating the shop once it is constructed. While she declined comment, she recommended that the Barbano MP, Dr. Albert Poyot, be contacted instead. Attempts to reach the Barbano MP for comments were unsuccessful. For the DBS News World, Miriam.
All right, so I want to acknowledge DBS as being the owners, copyright and otherwise, of that clip. And for the use of it, we want to thank them. And of course, it being presented by an ex-NBC TV reporter, Miriam Montut. Well done.
Well, I just want to reflect as we continue. Before we continue, I want to reflect the sentiments of Jean Francis François and Michael Matlock. She asked, what nonsense is that? And Matlock says that's total madness, and I totally agree. From the views that I've seen there, Shelton, the person has completely encroached onto the bus stop, the government's property, and she's saying, speak to the minister. That should be speak to the chief engineer, the Department of Transport. What does this have to do? This is government property. You can't just go build on government property.
Now, I'm saying, what would have been wrong? What would have been so difficult to build the shop as a separate structure? As a standalone structure.
But
why do you need to go and dismantle the bus shelter, at least partially or temporarily, doesn't matter.
But who gave
that
permission?
You're going to go and remove part of the roof so that you can adjoin it to that structure and so on. Who does that?
If the minister did give permission for that, I'd say the minister is mad. The minister is mad. There's no way I can see the minister giving permission for something like that. If she did, this is madness. This is nonsense. And whose permission? With whose permission? That can't be the minister granting permission to that. This is the Ministry of Infrastructure. That's government property.
Now, building a shop or having a vendor's stall or something like that near to a bus shelter is good business. Because people will stop there. But I think the genesis of that problem began even before. This thing about people using bus shelters as vending spaces, they have their trays, they have their boxes right underneath. The question is, who takes precedence? Who gets priority? When conflicts will start, where people are rushing to shelter in, to wait for a bus, and they come and they accidentally knock over somebody's thing. How does the fight? Who gets blamed for the fight that will erupt and the quarrel? And you know how it is in St. Lucia. Before anything, a cutlass pull. Somebody, you knock over my drinks cooler and so on. A drinks cooler that should not have been there properly. Do we have any rules in terms of how people come to just appropriate and take up places in public facilities? Who gives them permission to do it? I've said this before with regard to other public facilities. Laundries being a good example. Where you have some people in some communities, and I used to live in Balata at one point, I have some history of the Barbano constituency, Balata, Kabish and so on. And it's a matter of the laundry is for people to come and do their laundry. There are showers in it. But there are young men who use it as hangout spots, and the very, how you call that thing? A sink may not be already, but the place where you used to rub your clothes and thing, young men sitting on it, and they're not in a hurry to move. When a lady comes with her children and a basin of clothes to wash, like they take over the place and so on. And who watches out for those kind of things? This kind of attitude where people believe that they can come and just basically conquer spaces and appropriate them, and they're the boss and so on. I think what we are seeing there is an extension of it right now. And these kinds of things, they are dangerous. Something needs to be done about them. They are a public inconvenience. The people who do them, they develop a sense of entitlement. Like I said, I saw it happen in Latok. It seems to me like a bus shelter was
Grand
just...
Riviera as well.
I didn't know that, you know. But this is the first time I have seen the actual structure of a bus shelter being modified. You understand? Being essentially renovated to accommodate the appending of a structure of a
That's the
shop.
first time.
That's the first time I've seen it happen.
And what you're going to
You know?
hear, Shelton, you will advocate for following or adhering to the rules as it relates to that. What you see now is is an evasion of paying the relevant taxes or fees that you would have to pay daily to occupy a spot or crown land. Number one. But when you start to clamp down now, what you're going to hear is that, oh, but you're fighting on the Mali way. The same woman complaining now as well says she sells her watermelons under the bus stop. So in either case, either way, neither of them are right. Because you are now inconveniencing the public.
Who gave you the right to convert the bus shelter into a vendor store? Granted, this particular one did not actually interfere with and modify the structure. But it's the same principle where you are occupying a public facility for private use and so on. And you're probably doing so on your own steam, on your own dime. Who gives you the permission?
Now, as you've said that, well, before the story, I saw that report. I figured it was probably somebody building a shop that as an appendage to the bus shelter, because
or in proximity to the bus
because
shelter.
if you look at the Timon intersection, Miss Justina, you have the bus stop there, and you have her shop right there. Now that's Crown Lands, which she's leasing from. But I figured it was something similar to that. But then to see that an entire encroachment, only encroachment, you actually destroyed the original structure.
You are extending your house.
Your home,
You're extending your house. So you have to remove whatever it is, piece of section of roof, so that you can join it to the other wing or the other piece that's what's happening. Is like the bus shelter is being extended, so that it can be incorporated into a shop.
Well, a few people have to respond: the chief engineer, the MP whose name was mentioned, and the Babylon Town Council.
Yes.
Because I guess any vendors who are looking at setting up their shops or little spots, they would have to go for the town council, I believe, or pay those fees like you would do with city council. I'm not sure. But then somebody has to answer, and Dr. Poyot has to answer as to whether she did grant that permission. And if she did, Dr. Poyot, sorry to say, that is madness. That is madness if you did indeed grant someone, for them to even have the gumption to say the fortitude to say, check the minister. Say to the news to check the minister, don't ask me. So hopefully that there's an answer to that.
Although I believe it is instructive to MPs, whether they be ministers or not, about the things that they should become involved in and the things they should not become involved in. The things which they have some level of standing, authority to give permission or to deny permission, and when that matter is not in their hands. You understand? As an MP, you represent people of the constituency. Somebody has this idea. You tell them the most I can do for you is to speak with or get in touch with the relevant thing or direct you, go to the Ministry of Infrastructure, and you have to make whatever application, permission, whatever, DCA, whether they become involved, because a bus shelter is a permanent structure.
It's a permanent structure,
You come and you put something next to it, it has implications for a lot of things. And we know the situation. The moment you have a shop there, issues of littering, become problematic. Issues of somebody want to pee because they had a couple of bears nearby and so on, as opposed to a temporary place where you wait for a bus as it is a bus
even when the
shelter.
buses have to stop in front of the shelter, you're going to have problems if you have patrons there outside.
Because the bus itself will be obstructing the shop, and then that will be another area of irritation, preventing people from entering and coming out of the shop. These are all things that have to be factored in. But Miguel, if you have anything further to say...
Conrad made a comment, which is what I was actually getting to while you spoke. He said they also hold you hostage for a vote, even when they break the law. And which is the point. If we look at... For a vote.
Okay.
But this is the point I was going to make. This is not new. And it stems to our brand of politics that has been created over the years, has been perpetuated over the years by political parties. People believe that I vote for you, I'm supposed to get a favor, a personal favor. And even if that personal favor includes breaking the law or not going through the proper channels to get things done, I want it done. Or else I'm going to be the one bad talking you.
Yes.
And I'm going to make sure that my family doesn't give you that vote. Now, we need to get out of that. And that's the kind of politics that, if you realize that even candidates who were incumbents have lost their seat because they had refused to bow to that kind of behavior. You hear people saying, well, so I didn't vote for that man, I wanted this and that, he didn't do that for me, and that kind of thing. Yes. So it's a selfishness that, it's a chicken and egg situation, a selfishness that exists among our people, but then it was created by the politicians of old and carried on by certain current politicians, and it's hard to get out of it. You could try to make people see that there's a bigger picture. It is about the national development. When you look at things like a minimum wage, unemployment insurance, and these kinds of things, there's a bigger picture to than just what you can do for. Again, what can I do? What can the country do for me?
Yeah. Of course, we don't know that.
We don't know.
Dr. Virginia Albert was involved in that.
Yeah.
Give anybody permission or told them. We don't know that.
No, but when you say that kind of comment,
that is alleged by somebody, and sometimes people try to indemnify their unlawful actions
by passing the buck,
by claiming that they have the blessings of somebody that they think will fly and will be the last word on it. The minister told me I can do it, and there's nothing to all go so. Minister never said that.
Yeah.
Never got.
Yeah, I know she. I don't believe that Dr. Perry is mad enough to do that. That's why I say it's madness.
I don't believe she's mad at all.
I don't think she's mad at all. Yeah. But Shelton.
Yes.
I want to take a minute to acknowledge last night's episode of Rum Table Talk,
okay.
or is it Gin Rummy? You know what the title of last night's episode was?
I don't
Benson hedges the questions. Benson hedges the questions. Shelton, could you believe that this man was a deputy controller of customs, as he put it, and also a PS in the Ministry of Health? He didn't even look confident.
Was it last night or night? Because we dealt with that. Terry and I spoke about that.
Sorry, sure. I don't follow it.
West Spider asked him for 2 words.
You're right.
2 words to describe.
I almost said stupid.
And he said simple and humble or whatever.
That was that before. Whatever it was, Sean.
I said he might as well have said Benson and Emil.
Benson. Yes, y'all did say that.
Cornelia sent me a message saying, if she had known it's you, she would have used 2 words to describe who's going to join me.
Short and sweet?
No, she said Miguel and Favorite.
You see, I don't follow. I definitely will not go listen to Spider. I mean, I have better things to do with even 1 minute of listening to him. I would not. So everything that I've seen came out, well, I saw it on social media today. And Shelton, I don't understand it. This is the country. Rufus, good afternoon to you. How can you form a government with this?
Honestly.
But then Shelton also, and I'm not ascribing any untoward motive to him yet, but hearing, I didn't even know that he served as Deputy Accountant General. But then it puts things into perspective now, because when you saw all the willy-nilly spending and approval of things from our Treasury, you understand that it would only be puppets or people who would only bow to the indiscriminate and indiscretionary behavior of the Guy Josephs and Alan Chasneys when it came to public funds.
Yes.
And you understand that these are the type of people who facilitated it. And obviously we know Alan Chasney does not want anybody of any substance around him, intellectually, mentally, or have any mental fortitude. So it's easy to get someone. He himself showed as well how much of a puppet he can be, because you didn't even look like you had any confidence speaking about your own accomplishments or your rise through the ranks of the public service.
Yes.
So it pains me to say that, but Estee seems like a much better prospect.
Japan, can I get the link shared with in the Real Issues WhatsApp group and with me also? All right, I'm not seeing it.
Estee, even Jimmy Henry seems like a better prospect than him. Lamentations chapter 1.
Yeah.
Mr. Emil, let me say this to you. You didn't look like a picture of confidence. You look like you were just thrust into that chair. I don't know if it's you don't smell gin on the breath, do you? Is it vodka? I'm not sure if it's Spider's breath made you uncomfortable.
Be careful that you do not blaspheme of all people the Lord's Son, okay?
The Lord's Son.
You have to show some reverence. You have to show some reverence. You have to show some respect. If the person is the Lord's Son, from what I've been told, is one of the characters mentioned there is considered to be the Lord's Son. Show a little bit of reverence.
But Shelton, I'm not sure if
if it was the smell permeated from Spider's breath for alcohol, but then he really did seem uncomfortable last night. He did.
He looked like when they use some old anesthetic called chloroform.
Chloroform to knock you out. I see I got a message here.
But there might be an updated one called genoform.
Okay. I think I saw a message I pop up from Egbert Andrew. He said, 1 second. This cannot be well thought of visiting policy procedure. It is downright dangerous. And yes, notwithstanding contractual obligation. Wait. Oh no, that was July. He just puts in quotations on her way out.
Yes.
So I'm not sure who he's referring
Claudius
to.
J. Francis posted something where he said that after watching that interview with Spider and Benson, hear what he says. He may be the host of many a UWP show, but no one, not even his strongest supporter, can accuse Spider of being a good interviewer.
Ted King says,
accused.
Good day to you, Mr. Daniel and co-host. Reference to the small shop being erected next to the bus shelter is mad. I know the area very well. There is no place for a shop. I believe the individual should have sought permission from the relevant authorities to use the kitchen of the old Lage Primary School in order to have a shop. It's just madness to even have a shop there. Narcissus Boy says sipping on gin and juice in the last episode. But Shelton, it's unfathomable to think that a man who wants to hold the reins of leadership in this country is not reading the room, or is not aware of what he has around him, or is it that his megalomaniac trend of thought is just about grabbing power by any means necessary?
Any means not necessary. Any means possible.
Any means possible. Sorry,
I'm sure some of the means are not necessary.
It's not necessary.
They are not even, as you might say, ethical and so on. But any means possible, any means available that they will do it. Regardless of whether it's lawful or not. Because
I have a theory, though. I don't think Alan Shasta doesn't care about any one of them.
Not at all.
His motives are self-serving.
Not at all.
Whether he wants to become prime minister, but he doesn't want to lose that Miku South seat even more than wanting to become prime minister.
Because that is his platform and stepping stone.
Yes.
That is what keeps his foot in the door.
That is what
he just wants that foot in the door. Have you ever heard Alan Shasta come to the parliament and to be actively and purposefully advocating for
Miku South? Never.
Have you ever heard him come, and his line of conversation is that, look, Mr. Speaker, budget after budget, this particular road in Anchi or whatever, I have been talking, because he knows he's never talked about it, that, there's so many potholes coming downhill, and the loose stones and so on can cause a vehicle to skid and plunge, down a slope or into one. You don't hear this kind of talk from Alan Chastney at all.
Yeah.
That there's some areas where lights have not been working on the poles, and we need that because it's a safety issue for security, for women coming home from work late in the night. You don't hear this kind of talk. Every time Alan goes in the house is to kick up some kind of, like we say, to leve la boue with Claudius Francis, because for some reason he seems to think Claudius is easy meat that he can gaslight the speaker as he wants, or to go after Richard or Ernest or something like that Alan Chastney does. There does not seem to be any kind of priority in his mind to the
not even to ask for funds to
I'm
upgrade his sprinkler park. Not even for that.
Yeah.
But likewise, Guy Joseph. In all the years Guy Joseph has been our parliament, unfortunately, 2006 to 2016, have you once heard him speak about youth development? Anything to do with churches, community development, or even social? It's always about a contract, the trucks, and making, he can make money. That's all. You've never heard him speak about those things.
Yeah. I kind of believe that if the people of those constituencies that we are highlighting focus upon the right criteria and the standards for the selection and retention of MPs, a couple of those guys, and presently they only literally a couple of them, they would be history.
Yeah.
They would really be history. Alan Chastney in particular, for a man to be so cruel to his own people, the people of St. Lucia, that because a majority, because you must have a lot of support in those constituencies. You can't be telling me every single constituency where a majority, and a majority can just mean one more than you, that they voted for the other side, that you are going to cut off every dime of state funds under a program called the CDP, the constituency. I mean, this is spiteful. Shasta has tried to revisit history and to try to come back and give explanations of things. That is one he has never tackled. He has never tried to tackle defending.
He could.
You know, because it's indefensible.
Because I actually have a report, and I'm calling on those who can't find it because it was with NBC. Yeah. When Guy made his utterances about CDP, and we were able to provide all the documentation of all the funds that were disbursed to them during the CDP from as far back as Kenny Anthony's administration to when they compared to when they had to disburse funds from CDP. And Guy lied when he said they never got any money, and the figures are right there to show. Right. And of course, based on the size of the constituency, you'd find it was prorated in a sense. But then they got. And I juxtapose that to when they were in there. None of the 6 MPs who wore red got anything. And again, we cannot forget what was coined as the Belrose Doctrine. We can't. This is worse than, you know what they call about pork barrel politics, where they say, and to those who do not know, where a politician would basically just look after his constituency, but at the end of the day, it was only about benefiting him, about benefiting him personally. That was worse than that, because these guys, they say that they were checking for their constituency, but they never did anything. It was about enriching themselves. Which minister asked for a bribe because what do you call that? A casino owner wants to come operate down here after the COVID when the other casino closes down. The minister responsible asked for a cut, and because the man said F no, the man's gaming license languished. Stayed there to languish.
And
let him come and say that's not true.
You know, that's not the first time it's happening.
It's not.
The UWP administration of 2006 to 2011, especially after the passing of Sojourn, they were notorious, for that.
For bribery.
Everything that they wanted, and it was being done so openly.
You can ask Richard about that.
If you remember the whole saga with that American criminal called Riley Graham and his connection to all of that, a whole lot of these things and so on, they had their origins in that kind of attitude. The manner, the very, we might say, uncouth manner in which St. Lucia ended diplomatic relations with the People's Republic of China. It isn't the merit of one over the other. It's the manner in which it was done. No integrity. It's all about people for gifts to go to Las Vegas in Nevada in the States to watch boxing, to go to casinos and so on, and the handouts and all. That were being done. This is all that they were being driven by. Right now, this government has retained relations with Taiwan, but you can see that it is pursuing a principled development path.
And since 2011, since 2011, when we retained
exactly, we are engaging with a diplomatic and development and economic partner for the development of St. Lucia. We can see the scholarships. We can tie them to the trade show. We can tie them to so many initiatives in agriculture, not about people getting their hands personally greased and that sort of thing. That's not what it's about. It's not a question about whether Cuba, Richard Darry, what can we do in terms of how we engage for our development.
So it's 1:34.
Yes, it is.
Are we taking a break?
Yes, we'll take the break right now. Real Issues powered by Blue Waters. When we come back, the lines will be open for your calls, and maybe Miguel can pick some messages from the Facebook Live that we can read.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real Issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosile Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosile.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
McDowell Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Real Issues powered by Blue Waters is on, and let me say congratulations to Gregory St-Ange for a post that he has put up. Gregory says, "Good day to everyone. I left California with one goal in mind, to come to St. Lucia to represent the people of Mico South. Now our party has endorsed our dear sister, Dr. Harak Singh. Team Change and I are fully committed in working with our candidate in removing Alan Shastney from the backs of our people. Make yourself ready." So Gregory Harak Singh, Gregory St-Ange. You see, he's so much part of the team that I'm actually marrying him.
No. You can marry me too. No.
I noticed you're very enamored with Dr. Harak Singh.
We go fight.
And that's why I want to put a stay on your permission.
I go to Mico South and campaign.
So Gregory pledging his support. Gregory St-Ange, who has been on the Real Issues a couple of times. In fact, I think I was the first person to interview him, and I did so more than once when he declared his interest in putting himself up for consideration as the candidate. But Dr. Chandali Harak Singh being chosen, and he's now pledging that he will close ranks behind her and support. And I have no doubt anyone else who was interested, like Mr. Carlos Moncherry, that they are going to close ranks behind Dr. Haraxing, and she will bring home something better than bacon. She will bring home the milk and
The
honey
whole pig.
of finally. We're not even talking pig there. She will bring home the milk and honey of finally getting us to see the back, and permanently so, of Alan Chasney in Mico South.
And you know, it's sadly, I don't think Dr. Haraxing, or even Gibo should have had to work that hard. My people of Mico South, what's wrong with you? What really is wrong with you? You cannot see what we had compared to what we have now.
Yes.
You know, and we've learned from the Trump experiment. I really hope that you can see the light this time. Even with the accusations, and I was told that nothing ever came out of that. It was investigated. But the accusations of one of his people leaving with a ballot box, you know, out a box on the night of the election. I mean, all these things are signs, are indicators that this man will do anything and everything to remain or to retain power.
Yes. Let's announce the lines. We have a caller on? Oh, wow. Okay.
Good afternoon.
Okay. Sorry about that. I didn't realize there was somebody on already. Hi, good afternoon. Real Issues.
Shelton, how much time do I have?
Yeah.
Available?
Yeah, turn up the volume a bit.
1 second.
Yeah. Hold on a second, Just hold on. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, how much time do I have available, Shelton?
How much time you have available?
Yeah.
You're sounding like Neville Snack, but to go down there and tell you. Might take a little time. Go ahead.
Because I was thinking of going down to the West Coast, but I'll leave the West Coast for tomorrow if God spare. I will just check Castries South. I have a problem. A big problem with a desk, a cat whose name is Tommy. I have a problem with that man. And the reason why I tell you I have a problem with that man, Shelton and Miguel, is because he transformed himself into a salesman. He was on TV trying to market his leader, Alan Chasney, as a minister of finance. Now, how can you do that? Who does that? Who in their right mind will market Alan Chasney as a effective minister of finance? A man whom his own father, Miguel, help me with that one.
You mean who with a mind, not in their right mind? Who with a mind?
Who with a mind? Mm-hmm. Miguel, what did Richard say? How did Chasney's father describe him? A man who spent money like a child?
Yes, like a child.
I mean, how could you...
Like a child who never had toys.
Who never had toys.
And I have a list, and I'll go very fast, of sins, financial sins, that Tommy Descat oversee whilst Chasney was the Minister of Finance, 7.3 million for vaccines. Sandals, 24 million. Ojo Labs, 15 million. Ernst & Young, 45 million. Pomandu, 13 million. Lockerbie, 33 million. Theo Aking, 112 million. CHCTI, 5 million. Shocklands, 27 million. Carbon Metals, 135 million. Relocation of Farmers, 11 million. Cayman Health CT, 24 million. Bypass Road and DSH, 14 million. The St. Jude Box, 118 million. And the list goes on and on and on. And the total came to a whooping $717 million. Waste. St. Lucians, do not forget that, Alan Chasney, he blew away an entire budget. He blew that away. If Philip J. Pierre, a man who is very prudent, not terrible prudent, if Philip J. Pierre, a man who is very prudent with the monies of our people, could you imagine, Miguel, if Philip J. Pierre had that money at his disposal now, boy? Why? The road that the people complaining about in Cicero, and Shelton said, don't call that area Mongitong again. The road in Julian Alfred Town would have been fixed up, and many of the guys in the ghetto, as they would say, would be eaten. So it's Alan Chasney who was reckless in wrecking our economy, and you want to market that man as a minister of finance? Who does that? Thank you very much.
All right.
All right, thank
well,
you very much.
Well, first of all,
I think Juju Town would have a nice
Juju
sound.
Town, that
Yeah,
sounds good.
Nice sound to it. Nice sound to it.
Of course.
If the highway is going to be the Julian Alfred Highway,
why not
you know,
Juju
the
Town?
area
Where
instead
it
of
links
Monkey
into?
Town. Yeah, man, Juju Town. You know. Yes,
Well,
sir.
first off, Tommy may be from Cicero, but Tommy is from Castries South. Tommy go and play basketball on the morning, yeah? From time you're from that area and you're pronouncing bananas,
Bananas, yeah.
you
have a problem.
You have a problem.
Yeah, you have a disconnect.
You have a disconnect, all right?
Okay.
And I'll continue to say it, right? Just as before we get that call, the likes of Tommy and Preville, not so much Stephen. Stephen has proven himself to be useless. Sorry, but even if
Stephen is a favorite, yeah.
Stephen has proven himself to be useless on the platform, until Stephen convinces me otherwise that he's not going to be make an ass of himself by that ball. So, but caller, sorry, just let me say this: even if your aim is to take over the party from Shastney or to boot him out, you are still showing yourself as a disingenuous person, because you're fooling Alan to try and oust him from the leadership. If that's your goal, why should we trust you?
Yeah, right. I getting some chat there from Andrew Anton, so let's hurry and take
Go ahead.
Yeah. Let's take the call. Real issues, you're on the air, go ahead.
Yes, gentlemen.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, and you know, and let me say, just what I WhatsApp you. Y'all gave us a bit and switch. So I hope Cornelia deal with y'all. Anyway, gentlemen, I heard what's his name, Dominic Fady and Guy Joseph, as usual, on the bandwagon of the crime situation and attempting to place this missing evidence fiasco at the feet of the Prime Minister, Philip G.P.A. But what really blew my mind and had my lower jaw hit the floor was when Guy Joseph made the statement that they will provide support to the police, they will give the police all the support they need. What? I mean, after more than 5 years of witnessing the Prime Minister's wife, the then Prime Minister's wife, Alan Shastney's wife, holding balls, I don't know what balls or whose balls she was holding, but holding balls to raise funds to get equipment for the police and other stuff the police needed. I don't know how successful she was with that. But that was what we witnessed for more than 5 years. The then Prime Minister, Alan Shastney's wife, holding balls to see if she could get enough money to provide some equipment to the police, equipment they badly needed. And Guy Joseph is telling us today, and again trying to use this crime situation, forgetting the lessons of history, trying to use the crime situation to try to make political mileage. I mean, look, Guy Joseph, and again he's trying to axe the police commissioner, bury an axe in the police commissioner's head. Has Guy Joseph forgotten so soon how the then Prime Minister, Alan Shastney, got rid of the then Commissioner of Police, Cherry, by bringing him into the Prime Minister's office and bringing Milton Daisy, who was already on pre-retirement leave, back on duty as police commissioner. And Milton Daisy was being used, and Milton Daisy seemed to persons who saw what was going on. Milton Daisy wasn't acting as commissioner of police. He was acting as Alan Shastney's police officer, because he seemed to be, doing all kinds of, things to protect Alan Shastney, or Alan Shastney's whims, Alan Shastney's father's whims, because you recall, gentlemen, that when the order went out that because of COVID, there would be a stop to certain business dealings, certain business activities. For instance, the catamaran trade. The government said that has to stop because of the COVID-19. We don't want, boats transporting tourists and those same tourists going into the communities and so on. So some businesses were stopped. But Alan Chasney's father's boats, catamarans, were out there plying the trade, doing business. And Milton Daisy saw nothing wrong with that. Alan Chasney saw nothing wrong with that. I mean, all that kind of stuff was going on. And none of those guys saw it fit to say to the then Prime Minister, Alan Chasney, their leader, look, you can't do that because the situation is dire. We ourselves put out those things. We've spoken with the CEO, the chief, the health chief. We've spoken, the CMO, the chief medical officer. We've spoken with the then committee that was overseeing all of that. They held discussions with all of those people, and those were the things that were decided. But Alan Chasney was going around having political meetings when the other side, the then opposition, SLP, were prevented from doing the same thing.
They even had a boat ride. They even had a boat ride. The police intercepted them somewhere near off Soufriere or Canaries, and they gave the police their business.
But today, Guy Joseph et al. Trying to make mileage of this evidence fiasco is going to come and talk all kinds of foolishness about providing support to the police, and Dominic Fede trying to lay the blame for this fiasco squarely at the feet of the Prime Minister. How soon those people forget. But the thing is, I don't think St. Lucians are going to forget, and I don't think what Guy Joseph and Dominic Fede are saying about this situation, that is going to fly in the face of the experiences that St. Lucians have had with the United Workers Party 2016 to 2021. Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Philip J. Pierre. Here's simple psychology of things. Philip J. Pierre, the St. Lucia Labour Party government, this government, my cabinet colleagues, Alan Chasney, my police force, my government, my party. Remember when he pretended to have this scare from COVID? Who did he say came to his home? My CMO was at my home taking care of me. Understand the psychology of it. Alan Chasney's whole idea of leadership is ownership of this and every part of the country.
Okay, we have another caller on the line. Hi, good afternoon, Real Issues. Hello.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon to you.
Yes. I want to say kudos to Mr. Setaj of Miku South. I don't know if you guys have seen the letter he wrote. The gentleman agreed that he was not selected, and he is 100% behind Miss Harrison. This is a message for the St. Lucia Labour Party supporters. Support your candidate. Rally behind your candidate. I have so much respect for this gentleman. I really, we have to protect the victory at all costs. My Labour family, support your candidate. Thank you, Mr. Setaj. I'm really proud of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gola. Yeah. That was a pleasant surprise. So it's seen Mr. Setaj's posts. It was a very pleasant surprise.
Okay. I'm not surprised. I mean, having been conversational with him, I know that he had the enthusiasm. He really wanted to do it. But I think from early he indicated he was not going to let it sour him if he didn't end up being the one who was chosen. We have another call on the line. Real Issues, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Shelton, Mick.
Hey, what's up, my brother?
I'm good. I want to piggyback on what Andrew Antoine said there, because that was one of the reasons I wanted to call your program today, because I heard that the clip from Guy Joseph calling on Mr. What's the commissioner's name? Mr. God.
God, yeah.
That if the kitchen is too hot, they have to move. Okay, now, the fact that I'm not a student of history Shelton and Miguel, but I tend to remember things that have been said by political wannabes, political ministers, people that are in politics, and when things they turn up. Can you guys remember Herman Gill Francis making a statement that we had to pay the DPP more for the backlog of cases?
We have to do what for the more backlog?
We had to pay the DPP more money.
Yes.
So that they could work.
Yes.
And
that was when they changed the contract.
The DPP more. Yes, you're going to get the work done.
Mm-hmm.
And his salary had moved to $27,000.
To 30 something. After.
And what happened? Nothing. You remember the extension of the former commissioner, which people were saying it looked like they handpicked him to carry out their duties.
Yeah.
So what was done about the investigation and the Leon and the guy issue? What's the name? The other one.
Shakadan.
That was not 6 months ago. Eh?
No.
That didn't happen 6 months ago because Mr. God probably just have 6 months going into a year. So as a matter of fact, any good solution, right-thinking solution outside of politics, supposed to compliment Mr. God for going and investigate what went on there and to come back and tell us. So this happened 10 years ago, the incident. And during that 10 years, from the 10 years ago to now, they self-appointed a commissioner.
Yep.
So why you want to tell them that, Shelton, the thing about the politics, man, how it does bring people tend to preach hate and dislike and fear, and sometimes they even preach godly. I mean, knowing what you're saying there, that cannot be right. And you take an attack on the man, knowing that the man was nowhere close to that scene. We have cases that are still back there in the vacuum there, and you paid the commissioner $27,000 more. What are these guys talking about?
To me, the DPP salary had been upped to the equivalent of $12,000 at some point, so there's 30-something.
What this guy's talking about?
Yeah.
And you want to, and now you want people to watch Mr. God. But you know what Guy Joseph did? And it affirmed me this morning when I heard that news clipping. I'm convinced, Miguel and Shelton, if these guys win the election, anybody they know that is vocal and supporting the Labour Party as me and you and others, we are doomed.
Oh, yeah.
We are doomed.
No different from 2016.
And even those that are supporting in a certain manner, they will catch their royals as well with these fellas.
Yeah.
And we have to be careful. These fellas going to come there with a vengeance. Let me repeat myself. Any right-thinking solution would applaud the gentleman for going deep into the police force to find out what went down there. But Guy have it the other way. Just like when they had the contract mania, when Kenny Anthony, a contract, when Kenny Anthony was trying to put some discipline into the contract thing and went into the House of Assembly and said that they're going to put a policy where you have to be qualified contractor to get a contract. Yes. You know what Guy Joseph went back and say? Kenyan don't want little people to get work.
You have to wrap up now, because 2 o'clock is upon us, yeah?
Yes, but I could go at any time, my brother. That's okay.
Okay.
Have a good one.
All right, my brother. Have a good one.
All right, thank you very much. Miguel, once again, thank you so very much for being here. Thank you, Jaquan. Thanks, everyone, for being part of today's program. God willing, all things equal, let's do it again tomorrow, same time from 12:30 until 2 p.m. on Real FM radio station, on NBC television, on Facebook and YouTube live streaming. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday safely. Shelton Daniel for The Real Issues, powered by Blue Waters, signing out.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and
The winning numbers for the midday draw of Wednesday, 6 August 2025 were double daily grand 1, 4, 8, 17. Big 4, 2, 6, 2, 0. Big for multi-X FP. Pick 2, 8, 4. Pick to multi-X FP. 1 off. 7, 0, 2. Lucky 3, 0, 2, 1. Lucky 3 multi-X 2X.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel